If you enjoy this podcast summary, please consider subscribing. Kris Newby has a mind-blowing theory about the origins of Lyme disease, one of the fastest-growing infectious diseases in North America. She believes that Lyme disease wasn't a natural occurrence, but rather a result of a Cold War biological weapons program that accidentally escaped into the public. The theory suggests that Lyme disease was born from a bioweapon facility that got out of control. The disease was named after the town, and the Yale rheumatologist who discovered it, Willy Bergdorfer, believed that it was a tick-borne illness. However, Kris Newby's research suggests that there was more to the story. According to Newby, the U.S. military was experimenting with ticks and other insects during the Cold War, trying to create a bioweapon that could be used to weaken enemy populations. The idea was to create a disease that would be difficult to diagnose and treat, and would tie up medical resources. Newby believes that one of these experiments went wrong, and the ticks escaped, leading to the outbreak of Lyme disease. Newby's theory is based on her research, including interviews with Willy Bergdorfer, who told her that he had worked on the bioweapon program and had discovered the Lyme bacterium. She also found evidence of the program in government documents and lab notebooks. The story gets even more complicated when you consider the role of pharmaceutical companies and medical insurance companies. Newby believes that these companies had a vested interest in downplaying the severity of Lyme disease and promoting vaccines instead of antibiotics. This led to a lack of understanding about the disease and its treatment, and many people suffered long-term consequences as a result. Newby's book, Bitten, explores the origins of Lyme disease and the cover-up that followed. She believes that the disease was not just a natural occurrence, but rather a result of human experimentation gone wrong. One of the most shocking aspects of Newby's research is the revelation that the U.S. military was experimenting with ticks and other insects during the Cold War. The idea of creating a bioweapon that could be used to weaken enemy populations is terrifying, and the fact that these experiments may have led to the outbreak of Lyme disease is even more disturbing. Newby's work is not just about uncovering the truth about Lyme disease, it's also about highlighting the dangers of bioweapon research and the need for greater transparency and accountability. Her book is a call to action, urging readers to demand more information about the bioweapon program and its consequences. Kris Newby's family has been personally affected by Lyme disease, and she's experienced the seriousness of the disease firsthand. She had multiple tick-borne diseases, and her husband did too. Newby made a film, Under Our Skin, which explored the issue of Lyme disease and tick-borne illnesses. She realized that the problem is much larger than just her own experience, and that there are over 500,000 cases a year in the U.S. Newby is passionate about this topic because she believes that the mystery of Lyme disease isn't solved. There were huge incentives in the NIH research world to not dig into the prehistory of why this happened. The NIH was curing diseases, but they were also creating diseases that were delivered through insects. Congressman Chris Smith called for an open investigation into the origins of Lyme disease after reading Newby's book, but it didn't go far. Newby thinks that the government might not want to admit liability because of the potential financial implications. The health impacts of the weaponized ticks, and whatever was in them, could be financially greater than Agent Orange. Newby's background is in engineering, and she shifted out designing phones and computers. She moved to Apple Computer and did tech marketing, but when she had kids, she took a break. She and her husband took a vacation to Martha's Vineyard, where they both got bitten by ticks and contracted Lyme disease. They were sicker than they'd ever been, with crushing fatigue, exploding headaches, and weak bodies. They had a combination of symptoms that were like Alzheimer's, chronic fatigue, arthritis, and irritable bowel syndrome. It took main learning from video. Kris Newby shares her mind-blowing theory that Lyme disease wasn't a natural occurrence, but rather a result of a Cold War biological weapons program that accidentally escaped into the public. Newby's research suggests that the U.S. military was experimenting with ticks and other insects during the Cold War, trying to create a bioweapon that could be used to weaken enemy populations. The disease was named after the town and the Yale rheumatologist who discovered it, but Newby believes that there was more to the story. She found evidence of the program in government documents and lab notebooks, and her book Bitten explores the origins of Lyme disease and the cover-up that followed. Newby's work is not just about uncovering the truth about Lyme disease, but also about highlighting the dangers of bioweapon research and the need for greater transparency and accountability. The key takeaway is that Lyme disease may not be a natural occurrence, but rather a result of human experimentation gone wrong, and that the government's secrecy and cover-up have contributed to the lack of understanding and treatment of the disease. Newby's message is clear. Take Lyme disease seriously, find a doctor who listens to you, and don't be afraid to seek out alternative treatments. If you are interested to listen to complete 9-minute summary and unlock detailed insights for each topic discussed in the video, check out quick podcast summaries on Spotify and Apple Podcasts with free trial and later just for the price of candy. Happy listening. Tick-borne are not certain.